Despite being a swing state, Republicans could be in trouble in the Arizona Senate race. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video, and today we have to talk about the 2024 Arizona Senate election because Republicans are facing a potential disaster in the key swing state. And I know, that sounds crazy, like, Arizona? Isn't that the same state that, as of now, Trump is a lead in? Yes. According to the RCP average, despite having a Harris plus 5 poll, Trump's in the lead. Yeah, it's only by half a point, but if you threw out that Harris plus 5 poll from the New York Times, more than likely, Trump would be up by a point, maybe 2 points as of now. In other words, Republicans don't really have a problem in Arizona for the presidential race. Now, that doesn't mean Trump's gonna win the state by 15 points, but I think as of now, it's fair to say, yeah, he's probably gonna win by a couple points. Maybe he could win by 3 to 4. I'm not saying he's going to, but as of now, it's looking pretty good for Trump in Arizona. The problem is, well, the Senate race is looking like a complete disaster. Look at the current RCP average, Gallego plus 8. That's not a misquote. Not Gallego plus 6, not Gallego plus 5, 4, 3, no. Gallego plus 8. Now, I wanted to clear that I am not saying that he's going to win by 8 points. I think that's crazy. I really believe that Fox News poll was a pile of crap. You're not going to see Lake lose by 15 points. That's not going to happen. But at the same time, we have to start being honest about this race. That we have a big problem here. It is getting real bad in Arizona. Again, I'm not saying Lake's going to lose by 10 points. I think that's pushing it. But we're getting to a point now where it's September. We are getting closer to November by the day. Yet Lake is still getting crushed. Hell, she's actually gone down in recent weeks. Yeah, a couple weeks ago, actually a couple months ago, it seemed like she was starting to pick up steam a little bit. You had a couple of tied polls. You had Gallego plus 1, Gallego plus 3, plus 3, plus 4. It seemed like for a little while, Lake was starting to pick it up just a little bit. Now, that doesn't mean I thought Kari Lake was the clear favorite, but I thought, okay, Lake may still lose by a couple points, but it's not going to be a landslide defeat like some people were claiming. But ever since late July, it's been a complete disaster. Look at this. Ever since late July, there's only been 2 polls. Yes, only 2 that have the race within 7 points. And they still have Gallego plus 4s. And that's from Emerson and Insider Advantage. Which, by the way, Emerson's most recent poll was Gallego plus 7. So their prior poll is useless because they showed a 3-point shift in just 1 month. This is bad. We're not talking about a small 1-point shift and that's it. No, it is a 3-point shift in 1 month. And every poll is showing the same deal. Gallego plus 9, plus 9, plus 7, plus 8. Her best poll in the month of August was Gallego plus 4. And that's from Insider Advantage. And even that poll is outside the margin of error. So she has not been within the margin of error for what? A month now? Maybe 2 months? You see the problem? She is getting absolutely crushed. Now, that doesn't mean she's going to lose by 8 points, and I still think the Fox News poll is a pile of crap. I mean, seriously, plus 15? But it's becoming a consistent trend of, yeah, Kari Lake is losing in every poll. She's getting crushed in every poll. The closest one is plus 4 for Gallego. This isn't good at all. Now, some people are going to ask, but what's going on here? Kari Lake is the Trump candidate, and right now, Trump's up in Arizona. He's at 48%. Why is Lake doing so bad? Well, look at Lake's vote share. She isn't even at 42%. Hell, 4 of the polls in the past month show her below 42% or at 42%, with only 1 poll, yet again Insider Advantage, showing her above 42%. That's her biggest problem. For whatever reason, Kari Lake is stuck at 40%. Look at this. Outside of 2 polls, actually 3 polls since early July, late June, she's been below 45% in every single poll, with the vast majority of them being 42%, 41%. Yeah, this is bad. She is barely cracking 40% in most polls. That is awful. Especially for someone like Kari Lake, who, by the way, has universal name recognition. This isn't like Ohio, where Bernie Moreno is not known. He's going against Sherrod Brown, who is well known. He's the incumbent. So he has an excuse to be down by a couple points. But by some miracle, Bernie Moreno, who has far less name recognition than Kari Lake does, is polling significantly better than Lake is. Lake has no excuse to be at 40%. None. She should be at the bare minimum 44%. Probably closer to 45%. And the big reason is everyone in Arizona knows who Kari Lake is. So it's not like a bunch of Republicans don't know who Lake is, so they're undecided. No, they know damn well who Kari Lake is. And when you factor in the fact that, oh yeah, Trump is actually at 48% right now, yeah, Kari Lake at the bare minimum should be at 45%. But she's not. And it's not because of name recognition, it's because she's running a shit campaign. Listen, I'm not attacking Kari Lake because I want to. I want Lake to win. I don't want Ruben Gallego to win. I don't. But Lake is running a shit campaign. Can we stop denying that? It is piss poor, but you could argue that that's not why she's down by 10 points or whatever, which I'm not saying she's going to lose by 10, but listen, the problem started 2 years ago, right after the midterms. We all know what happened. Kari Lake had a bunch of election lawsuits. Listen, we're not going to talk about what happened. That's not the point. The point is, after the election occurred and Kari Lake refused to concede, like she went to court, she attacked Hobbs for being illegitimate, all of that, her numbers took a nosedive. Which, let's be honest, her numbers beforehand were not that good, but compared to today, they're eons better. Like, back then, it was like -5 or whatever. Not the best, but considering it's Kari Lake, those were actually respectable numbers. But ever since then, her numbers have outright collapsed. And it's gotten worse, not better. Yeah, during this campaign, her numbers by some miracle have gotten worse. And that's because her campaign is garbage. I really don't get what her campaign's trying to do. I really don't. Whether it's flip-flopping on abortion, whether it's having cringeworthy ads, it seems like this campaign is a complete joke. They have no clue what the hell they're doing. Like, seriously, why would you flip-flop on abortion? And I'm not talking about leave it to the states. That's all you had to say. You're running for the Senate. It's not my business. I will not vote on any legislation related to abortion. That's because I'm in the Senate. It's up to the state of Arizona to decide the laws. But instead of just saying that, taking the Trump stance, she went beyond that. She said, I am the pro-choice candidate. I support the right to choose. To choose what? You see the problem? Which, by the way, it isn't the biggest thing in the world what she said. That was a couple months ago. It kind of faded away. But when she started doing that, that's when her campaign started to take a noticeable nosedive. Like, she was down, but it wasn't by 15 points or 7 in every poll. It was, 2 to 3, 4, maybe 5. But ever since then, her campaign's gotten worse. They're not on message. They're talking about stuff that no one cares about. It's like, what are you doing? This is pathetic. You should not be down to Ruben Gallego by 8 points. You should be at the bare minimum down by like 3 to 4. That's the truth. I'm not saying that Lake should be the favorites, but this is one of those races where Kari Lake should be at the bare minimum in a winnable position. Right now, I don't think there's a pathway for her. I really don't. If she's really down by 8 points, which I don't think is going to happen, I highly doubt that Lake's going to lose by 8. But let's just assume that At this point in time, she is down by 8 points. That doesn't mean that's the final margin. Just right now, she's at 42. Gallego's at 49 to 50. The first problem is Gallego's already at 50%. So it doesn't matter what you do. You can win virtually every undecided voter, which I assume these undecided voters, they're probably Trump voters. They're probably Republicans. They're going to break for Lake, more than likely. But the problem is, if Gallego's already at 49.8%, you would have to win every single undecided voter. You cannot lose anyone. And you might squeak by with a very small victory. That's your biggest problem. Like, you're going to win the undecided vote, but by 95-5 margins? Like, let's just assume that 70% of these undecided voters, they're Trump voters. Even if you win every single one of them, you're still down by 2 to 3 points. That's the problem. It doesn't matter if she could win every Trump voter that's undecided, she would still be losing. But there is a possibility that maybe the polls are off. Like right now, maybe Gallego's vote share isn't 49.8%. Maybe it's 48%. Maybe the Fox News poll is complete bullshit. Okay, let's say he's at 48 and Lake's at 42. Let's just say that's where the race is really, not Gallego plus 8. It's Gallego plus 6. On paper, that doesn't seem that winnable because, well, it's still Gallego plus 6. It was Gallego plus 8, but if we were being friendly to Lake and say it's Gallego plus 6, it's only 2-point shift. In reality, though, if it is only plus 6 for Gallego, Lake does have a pathway. I think it's very slim, but there is a pathway for Lake to win here. She needs everything to go right and then some, but it's still possible in this scenario. For starters, she has to win every Trump voter over, which I think she's going to win like 80% of them at the bare minimum, like of the undecided voters that are Trump supporters. More than likely, she wins 80 to 90% of them, which would get the race within a point or so. If we're being generous, Lake is down by 1, maybe 2 points, and Gallego is probably at, let's say, 49%, which is still not good for Lake because at that point, Gallego is still close to 50%. But it's much more plausible than, oh yeah, by the way, like, you have to win every single undecided voter and then some just to maybe squeak by a victory. Because in that scenario, all it takes is a big scandal for Gallego to cost him the race. Which I think is possible because Ruben Gallego, he's not a good character whatsoever. He has a bunch of skeletons in the closet. Which I don't get why the Lake campaign hasn't used those skeletons yet, but maybe they're waiting. Maybe they're waiting till October, which I think is dumb, but that's the only way I see Lake winning. She needs to, for starters, consolidate the base. The fact that she has it already is pathetic, but she has to. She cannot be at 40%, especially come early October or late September. She needs to be at 45, 46% at the bare minimum come October. And then she needs a miracle. Whether it's blasting the airwaves, attacking Ruben Gallego, whether it's a big scandal about Gallego, she needs something. And then you could make the argument maybe Lake can win. I still find that so unlikely that I think Gallego is the clear favorite right now, but it's still possible for Lake to win. Very unlikely, but if she has everything go right for her in the next month or so, I guess it's possible. But if she's not at 45% come October, it's done. There's no way she can win because at that point in time, she still has a big base problem, which is weird because it's Kari Lake. Why does she have a big base problem? It's bizarre, but that's what's happening right now. I hope Lake can pull it off because, frankly, you do not want Ruben Gallego in the Senate. But I don't think she can. I don't think she can pull off the upset right now. But it is possible. There is a pathway here. It's very slim, like I said. It's basically the stars align. And then maybe, just maybe, Kari Lake can pull off the upset. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.